Hey there.
Hello there.
Hello there. It's a very sad evening tonight in the Arkin brothers talk about movies.
Adam got scared and couldn't come to play because he
watched the movie and it was too much for him.
It's a lot to take in for a sensitive person.
It is. I struggled many times.
Did you?
Yeah. But you know what? You're going to have to hold down the fort. Actually, you're not going to have to hold down the fort. I was going to tell you were going to have to hold down the fort for a minute for me to go ask Mom to shut her door because I'm also hearing the show about 5 seconds behind us, and it's really distracting.
Oh yeah, it's not coming out of my monitor, so I think.
But I think because I'm talking about it, she's going to hear me talking about it, and I'll bet she'll go shut the door.
She might. If she's paying attention to the show.
If she's paying attention, maybe she just has it playing in the background.
Some people just have stuff on and they don't really
pay any attention. Why would she pay any attention to us?
She's heard us talk about this stuff for years.
I'm sure if I was her, I'd be sick of it.
Wonderful show, kids. Yeah, this was great. This was the best one.
Well, now she's getting even closer with it. She's right outside. Okay. Thanks, Mom.
Have a wonderful time. I hope you enjoy the show, Mom. Well, happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
It's the Halloween time of year.
Yes.
It's just a few days away.
The big scary part of Halloween is actually happening a few days after Halloween.
Yeah. It's the Halloween season. It's going to go into the beginning of November.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Halloween and horror movies and spooky stuff. How about you, Matthew?
I love scary movies. I adore scary movies. And I like all kinds. I like the suspense scary movies. You know, things like Legend of Hill House, that recent show that was very slow and suspenseful. Yes. And I like the boo scary movies.
Okay.
I like being scared.
Interesting. So you like horror movies, thrillers, Hitchcock kind of stuff. Any of that's fair game for you. You'll go check it.
I will go see anything that will make the girl sitting next to me grab my arm and want me to make her feel safe.
Well,
it usually doesn't work because I often run screaming from the theater in terror, but
looking for women to protect you from
what the heck. Yeah.
So maybe that's what I do. Well, as you know, I'm also a fan of the scary and the horror. I'm a big fan of horror movies.
And you've seen tonight's movie 72 times?
I've seen it a lot. You know, I mean, this is probably the first time that there's a movie that we're picking a film to talk about that I actually adore, you know, that I like so I love so much that I don't know how objective I am about it because I've loved it since 1981 when it came out, and I was, you know, a little kid, and it hit me. It was just absolutely. I was a prime target for this movie when it came out, and I still do really love it. There's things about it that I know are you know, it's a B movie. I mean, but literally like a B movie. So there are things about it that are kind of campy, and there's things about it that are campy not on purpose, and there's things about it that are campy on purpose.
There are things about it where it's so consciously a B movie.
Yes, absolutely.
And they are enjoying it being a B movie.
But to me, the most important part about that, being such a real fan of the genre, like I like this stuff like you like detective stuff.
Okay. You know?
Yeah. And it's that they didn't do any of the B movie stuff ironically.
Yeah.
Joe Dante, who directed this movie and who's a huge fan of horror from a child, as I was, loves this stuff without being satirical about it or ironic or flip about it. He loves it truly. So, and so do the other people that were involved. Particularly John Sayles, who wrote the screenplay. And there's I guess we should set it up. So there are people who might be listening and don't know the movie, what it is. So we should just give it up like a little encapsulation.
Okay.
Do you want to?
Before we do, you were talking about how much you love this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people watching know, but we pick the movies and then we don't talk about them beforehand.
Right.
We don't talk to each other, liked it, didn't like it, whatever. We just pick the movie and say, go. So you love it, and you have put that right out there on the line.
Yeah.
And you don't know how I feel about it. Were you at all nervous?
Yes, I'm nervous now.
I'm
less nervous. I'm less nervous that there's not two of you that I'm worried about ganging up on me.
Up on you and saying, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, but I've got a lot of fight in me on this one. So
okay. Well, are you ready to hear?
I would love to know what you think.
I adored this movie.
Yes.
I had so much fun watching it.
Oh, I'm so happy.
And what was interesting was I had a talk with Mom about even the stuff in it that you might say that we've watched other movies, and I've said, well, that was just bad.
Yeah.
This movie has stuff that you could maybe say that about, but I loved it in this movie.
Yeah.
And for me, the reason all of that stuff works is because it has no pretensions to be anything other than exactly what it is.
Right.
Which is all I ask.
Yeah. Even when it's doing things that are really slyly brilliant filmmaking thing, like Joe Dante, this was his second movie that he directed.
Really?
He directed Piranha before this, that was also written by John Sayles.
And there was no fur in that one.
No, that was bikinis and scales. That's all they had in that movie. Okay, I'm really glad that you got something out of this movie, because this is a thing from my childhood that I dearly love. Now, this film came out in 1981, as we mentioned, directed by Joe Dante, written by John Sayles. It stars Dee Wallace and Dennis Dugan, who are the couple in the film. And is it Dennis Dugan? No, not Dennis Dugan. Christopher Stone. And they were actually engaged during the course of this film, and then later became married.
And she became Dee Wallace Stone.
Dee Wallace Stone. Movies. Exactly. Belinda Belasky, also in Piranha, is in this movie. Joe Dante was very, he apparently cast the same people a lot. Over and over again. And then you have John Carradine and Slim Pickens. I actually put a little thing together, a little vignette of some of the cameos that you can see in this film.
Oh, yeah?
Amazing. Yeah.
Do we need to watch that?
Well, why don't we? I mean, it gives you a flavor of what this movie is. Yeah, let me see. That's called it's called Howling. No, did I send you? No, I didn't get a chance to do that.
Oh.
It's not one of the ones I sent, stupidly.
Oh, well, then I'm not going to play it.
Don't play the one I didn't send you.
Do you have it? Because if you send it to me while we're talking, I can upload it.
I may. Hold on one second. Can you still see me?
I'm afraid I can.
You can. Okay. Yeah. So what I can do right now, I'm on Premiere as we speak.
Yeah. And
I'm gonna see if I can render this out. If you can still see me.
I can still see you.
We're in good shape.
Folks, for those of you watching, don't try this at home.
No,
don't try to render and export
and be on StreamClip
and be on StreamYard at the same time.
It's not advisable.
You could hurt yourself.
I'm a professional.
Yeah.
So I try to get away with this. Okay, so that's
you were talking about the cat. You were talking about the people in the cast. There's somebody I want to give a little. I mean, we're gonna have to talk about John Sayles and his performance at some point.
Yeah.
But Kenneth Tobey.
Well, dude, that's what I'm saying. You're gonna see him in this clip. I'm uploading it to the drive right now in a couple minutes, or at about a 30 seconds.
Tiny little part. The dude he went to college with Gregory Peck Eli Wallach and Tony Randall were his classmates.
Oh, wow. Where did you find that piece of trivia? That's amazing.
On his IMDb page, which has 223 credits.
Yeah. Incredible.
It's nuts.
He also, he appears, I think, in a bunch of Joe Dante movies. Joe Dante is interesting because he, started out as a Roger Corman, acolyte. Like he loved Roger Corman's movies, and then Corman hired him to be an editor and learn the ropes.
Right.
And they made one comedy called Sunset Boulevard, I think it was, or not Sunset Boulevard, but like Hollywood Boulevard or something. Right. Him and his buddies on a shoestring, and it did so well that Corman like kind of launched his whole career. Spielberg then kind of found him and stuff, but he always owed a lot to Roger Corman, who, if you don't know, anybody out there, was like Troma Films before Troma ever was around. He was the original kind of grindhouse B horror and B slot movie maker who made independent, very cheap movies in a couple of days and got them together really fast. And so many people studied under him: Joe Dante, Ron Howard, Scorsese, Coppola. I mean, lots of really, really interesting people came out of that production company. And Joe Dante, this was only his second movie.
That's great.
But he loved these people. So Kenneth Tobey, who is in The Thing and a lot of other famous sci-fi movies from the 50s, shows up, as does, a lot of the classics. Dick Miller from Little Shop of Horrors, and a lot of other stuff like Bucket of Blood.
Right.
John Carradine, Kevin McCarthy.
John Carradine.
I mean,
is so beyond.
It's fantastic. It's so fantastic.
It's great.
And because it's got that love, it's not ironic. It's not being, capitalizing on stuff to make fun of any of it.
Well, I have a lot to talk about on this movie. My list of random crap that popped out at me, which we'll get to.
Okay.
But we have a very special guest.
We are truly honored.
Who I think really gives the standout performance in the movie, and I think is actually some of the very best makeup in the whole movie is his makeup. So should I bring on our guest?
Do you want to show a little teaser before?
Let's show the teaser of our friend
labeled Murtaugh.
Yeah, and actually, before even we look at the teaser, a great guy. I mean, I've known this guy for 25 years. I've sat in countless waiting rooms with him. We all know him.
Yeah.
And not doctors' waiting rooms.
I was going to say, we're fine. Yeah. Health is okay.
Yeah.
Waiting
rooms at voiceover and
acting things, not mental health facilities or any of that.
Not the public health office for testing.
No.
All right. So here he is, our friend, James Murtaugh.
Oh, hi. Jerry Warren, Softwares.
Hi, Bill Neal, Hardware.
Hardware?
He doesn't get it, Bill.
I own a couple of health clubs, Barbell's Hardware. It's my wife, Karen.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You too.
Ryman?
No, I try to stay away from me.
Maybe later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And here he is, the man himself. And this will give you an idea of how incredible the makeup is in this movie. Because look at this. I mean, that's just what they were able to make you look normal.
This is what they had to work
with.
Yeah,
I did look. I was very surprised that they cast me in this movie. I didn't think I was right for it at all. But I walked in, and the first thing they said was, "You're our guy." And I said, "Wow, that's never happened. What kind of movie is this?" And they said,
maybe they thought it would be easier to make you look normal than it would be to put scary makeup on a normal person.
I think you're right. It's like aging. Do you age the person, hire an older person, or hire a younger person and age them?
Yeah.
In my case, you're right. I think they needed to make me look normal, and that's why I
This
looked
is why
over at
this
in that
answers why
movie.
you've done so much voiceover work. Also,
Yeah, that explains it all. They didn't want to see my face. That scene you showed, there was a director's cut, and the director got on Joe Dante. He said, Murtaugh, he was doing these A1 steak sauce commercials for steak. He said. and I looked, and there he is with this big roast over the spigot. And he's going like a commercial for A1 steak sauce. I didn't know he was doing that commercial. He said, I would have, I always tried to tone that down. He actually said that, but the commercial came out after the film was made. I think he was concerned when the movie came out.
Well, I think you got the commercial because of the film.
With a big spigot of beef in front of him.
But I think that's why you got the A1 thing, because the whole scene, it's all just like normal acting and a normal scene. And then all of a sudden you say, prime rib.
Right, exactly. Hey, I love the way he said that. God,
that story is actually on the director's commentary of the DVD. Joe Dante tells that story. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I was shocked when I heard it. And I saw that because the commercial came out after the movie was made. And he went, oh my God, what the fuck? Jeez, that's the A1 guy. No, everybody's go, that's the A1 guy. They put him in there. His whole movie's kind of a joke anyway. He's got all these references to different horror movies in there and gags and some of the lines.
And there's some great product placement in the movie too.
Product placement. Yeah. If I had been pouring A1 steak sauce over the roasted cow, it would have been perfect. Yeah. But that is in the director's cut. Yeah.
I know you had you'd done a lot of television before this. Was this your first feature film, or had you been in features before this?
I had been in a few before that. Yeah, I did All the President's Men. That was my first film, and I remember I got a call from Milwaukee, where I was from. One of the disc jockeys called up at a call-in show. And it was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and the movie had been out. I played the librarian in the Library of Congress. Hey, Jim, here we are, WNBC here at Milwaukee. We have Jim Murtaugh on the line. Jim, hi. Hi, Jim Murtaugh was in All the President's Men, that classic. Jim, how was it doing that bit part? Excuse me? The bit part, how'd you like doing that? Well, it was fine, but I didn't think of it as a bit part. I mean, it was one line, I was kind of shocked that he would call my first movie role in Washington, D.C. in the Library of Congress a bit part. But that's, how they looked at it in Milwaukee, I guess.
Well, when you said I did all the
rude awakening, it was a bit part, but it was still memorable in my eyes.
When you said I did All the President's Men, I thought that was the name of the movie. And I thought it was a Stormy Daniels movie. I did All the President's Men.
I did All the President's Men, all the 20 hours. I did them all. I had a nice part, and then he came out and he said, how'd you like doing that bit part? So how would you?
That is kind of rude.
That's not
rude. I thought it was very rude. 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm expecting to have this nice interview and building me up. Anyway, that wasn't my first movie, but it was my first horror movie. I think every actor wants to do either a Western or a horror movie. And when I went in to read for it, I read and I got it. And I don't really remember the audition that well. I think they were just looking for people that looked very average, very unlike Lycanthrope, is that what they call them? A werewolf?
Or lycanthropes.
Lycanthrope, yes. Somebody who was just the guy next door, someone you least suspect to turn into a werewolf. And so me and Margie Impert. Remember Margie Impert? She used to do commercials back in the 70s and 80s. She played my wife in the movie, and we were just the average couple. And I walked in and I looked like the average guy, and they hired me, and we shot it up in Northern California, up in the redwoods.
I was going to ask. Was there any studio work, or was it all up there?
It was, all of my stuff was on location. Some was up there, some was on a beach in Malibu, and the shack that burns down, I think, was right outside Los Angeles. But we were up north for a few days, up near Fort Bragg, in that area up there.
And
that's kind of an ideal dream-like job, for an actor to get to go away, to someplace
It
really
really was.
interesting and beautiful and hang out with everybody
Yeah.
for a while and make a movie.
Yeah, it was. I went up with my wife, and we drove up along the coast, and we're up there for a few days. We got babysitters for the kids. They were just babies at the time. We were talking about it the other day. I can't believe we left our 2-year-old and a 3-month-old with people we barely knew. One didn't speak English, and the other one someone recommended her to us. The kids came back and didn't want to go near us. I remember that. But we were gone for about a week, and we just had a great time.
Wow.
We really did.
You were just gone for you. It was just a week up there.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was a very low budget movie. I mean, they really were in a hurry.
Yeah, I hear
Joe
the
didn't
budget
direct
was.
anything. I think
I
how
hear the
much was
budget was $1 million.
Yeah,
One. I heard.
Yeah, and I heard they made 12 million on it. That's what I heard.
It did really.
A lot of money.
It did well. It did really well.
It's quite a read. It was such a low budget movie. I mean, we were working late hours, and they had to get the shots in. There wasn't much direction by him. You just got up there and you knew your lines, and you did it. John Carradine, John Carradine didn't even know what the movie was. He had no idea what he was doing. One of the actors came in and said, "Well, you all set?" He says, "What is this movie anyway?" He says, "Oh, it's the horror movie." "A what? A horror movie?" He says, "You're playing a werewolf." "A what?" "Yeah." He said, "You didn't know you were playing a werewolf?" "No, I don't read these low budget scripts." And I just go out there and say the lines and go back. He said, I couldn't believe it. He had no idea what the movie was about. He didn't know what role he was playing. I'm a what? He says, "You're a werewolf." And then he went out and did his line. And he threw himself into the fire. "I can't take it anymore. I can't."
Oh,
take
that
it.
scene is fantastic.
Oh God,
that's a great scene. I mean, to be working with these classic actors. My God, I mean,
Well, that was my next question. So you were up there. You were up there with, Slim Pickens, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming you got to hang out with Patrick Macnee, and I guess maybe Kevin McCarthy wasn't there for the big surf.
Kevin wasn't there, but Slim Pickens was. We had a scene in the hot tub that was in the director's cut that was cut, fortunately. And there was where Slim Pickens. I'd love to get that. Slim Pickens.
You
John
and Slim
Carradine and
Pickens in
myself.
a hot tub. You and Slim Pickens in a hot tub. I'm so sorry I missed that scene.
People, this is something that can happen that we can get on Blu-ray. So let's get on this.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I ever expected is to be working with actors like that, of that stature.
Yeah,
cinema.
yeah.
I mean, it was really a thrill. I mean, John Carradine, Grapes of Wrath, and he played Dracula, I think, too, didn't he? At one time.
He did. He played Dracula, or at least vampires. I don't know if it was Dracula himself.
And Slim Pickens, Dr. Strangelove. I mean, he's just great people.
Kenneth Tobey, who we were talking about earlier from The Thing and other great 50s sci-fi films.
Oh yeah.
Who plays the cop in the beginning?
You mentioned Roger Corman. He was in the movie.
Yeah.
He has a scene where, because he's known for very cheap, low budget movies, and Dante was always putting these gags in there. When she was in the phone booth waiting to hear from Bob Picardo, the killer, she was going to meet up with him in that sleazy phone booth,
Right.
in the booth, and so there's a guy waiting outside the phone booth, and that was Roger Corman, and he goes in
really?
after she walks. He checks to see if the coin refund box.
That's so funny because I wondered why they gave that guy so much attention when it's got nothing to do with the plot.
Two things. It's a Rosemary's Baby reference, that shot, and they're recreating a moment from Rosemary's Baby. And in Rosemary's Baby, it's William Castle who's standing outside the phone booth.
Correct.
And in this version, it's Roger Corman.
And
out of respect, he loves Corman. And I did Corman? I can't remember now. Did Corman have something to do with this film? The Howling? He did not.
No,
distribute it or
anything.
Yeah.
No, he didn't have anything to do with the film. They just wanted to show how cheap he was he'd check the coin slot, the coin return in the phone booth.
That's great.
See if the coins came back. It was an inside joke, and they were debating whether to cut it because, like you said, Matthew, nobody would get it, but they left it in anyway.
That's great.
Well, he had somebody else he had somebody else in the movie that was fairly well known. I only came away with one classic line in that movie. You probably know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember?
I wrote it down.
It's not as classic as "Here's Looking at You, Kid," or "We'll
No,
always
but
have Berlin."
Silver Bullet to My Ass is one of
That's
my
right.
favorite moments.
That's right.
I
I
wrote
didn't
that.
think Yeah, I went back to New York after the movie, and I forgot about it. The movie's out. I didn't think much of it. Nobody's going to remember me in it. Some guy in a truck goes by, rolls down the window, and yells out, "Silver bullets, my ass!" I don't know. All right, I made it. This is great. I'm an actor. I'm a real actor.
Okay, I said, you know Jim Murtaugh, the Silver Bullets My Ass guy.
Right, exactly. That's all you got to say. And they instantly know who I am.
Yeah.
The hardest part of the movie was wearing the contact lenses, which I didn't. Well, they made a mold of everybody's face, a life mask.
Right.
And we went over to Rob Bottin's place to do it. It was actually in his house in the valley. And one guy put the mask on, this big hulking football player type guy, and he freaked out. He started running towards the deck and was going to fall over. They had to grab him before he fell over the edge of the deck. He couldn't take it. And I said, I can do this. They put it on me, and they put 2 straws in your nose, and they mold it to your face. And they leave it on for about 20 minutes, and you can't talk. And I said, this is okay. I'm doing good. I'm pretty good. I'm better than that guy. And then they started to take it. They pulled the straws out, and they started to take it out, and it got stuck on my face, and it covered up my nostrils, and I couldn't breathe.
Oh man.
I said, take it off, just take it off, take the goddamn motherfucking thing off my face for Christ's sake. So they had to rip it off. So I didn't have a life mask, but so when we got to the big scene in the barn, we were supposed to wear these Coke bottle lenses. They were from the 40s, these contact lenses. So our eyes would look green, and the ophthalmologist kept saying you can't have them in for more than 10 minutes. That's it, no more. So we got to the big scene, and Margie Emperor, to play my wife, and Noble Winningham and one other actor had their scene first. And they were in there for a long time. And they came out, and I said, where are they? I'd like to see how it went with the contact lenses. Now they're back in the trailer. You can't talk to them now. I want to talk to them. I said, I'm not going to go out there and put these things on unless I talk to them and see how it went. I said, okay. So they took me over to the trailer, and they were all sitting there on the couch with slabs of meat on their face, on their eyes. I said, how'd it go, guys? Oh, it's burning. It's just burning. It's awful. Just terrible.
Oh my God.
I said, I'm not going to wear these contact lenses. And they weren't too happy about that. I said, there's no way am I going to put those in my eyes. I said, just shine a light. I railed my eyes up like this. And I had Dee Wallace in my hands and the gun, and Dennis Dugan was there. So, and I just rolled, and the light caught my eyes, and it was great. And they had the teeth, and it was perfect. And Dennis said, stand back. I have silver bullets. And I said, silver bullets, my ass. And they changed the sound, so it came out like a growl. Silver bullets, my ass,
I've got some, you sent me some nice photos that I can share here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's see those.
We'll start with hold on, I want to make sure I'm starting with the right one. I want to start. Here we go with this is a particular picture that I call this handsome James.
Oh, which one?
Look at that.
Oh yeah, you're right. That is the handsome picture. That's a great shot.
That's the handsome guy.
Look at that.
That is definitely
Ready for the barbecue.
Definitely the handsome Jim Murtaugh.
Yeah.
I love the light coming up. Boy, that's great. Oh, that's a classic shot, isn't it? Look at those iconic.
Wow.
Actors. Noble Winningham is on the left. He passed away, and there's Slim and John and me in there,
and Freddie Mercury. I didn't
Freddie
know.
Mercury.
Yeah, he did the theme song as well, which they changed the last minute.
That's crazy. And then we have
that's a trucker hat. That is a classic 80s trucker hat too.
Yeah, and I still have those glasses too, and I just broke them a short while ago.
Oh,
Aviator, really cool glasses. I look cool. I look kind of tough in that picture, don't I?
You do.
Kind of rugged.
You look very threatening.
Very threatening. Yeah.
Were you? Oh, this is great.
That's Dee Wallace's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Dee there. That was the shot.
silver bullets, my ass.
And there's one where I roll my eyes. You can see it's just a light, but no context. They
Oh,
couldn't
Smart.
do much because they were
Very, that's
There it is.
that's plenty scary. It's plenty scary.
That's
James.
scary
I mean,
enough. That's scary.
it doesn't
enough,
have to be
okay?
any scarier than that.
No
This is
scarier
why
than
Adam
that.
couldn't
I mean,
show up. This is why Adam couldn't be here.
This looks like you. This
Oh.
is you doing your Jeff Daniels impression in this.
That's my Jeff Daniels impression. My Dick Cavett impression, I think, is what it is. You know, that scene in the barn there, when I first walked in, all up on the balcony were naked women, naked from the waist up. I said, oh my God, where the heck how did this happen? I mean, they're up there dancing, and Dee Wallace said, no way, those gals are coming out of. She went to the director and said, you got to get rid of them, she said. She was very sort of religious at the time, you know, prudish. And, so she did not want them in there. And they said, oh, they have to be in there. She had in her contract that there was she knew how much nudity was going to be in the show. And she said, and I signed the contract. And you guys put in the contract how much nudity would be in this show. And that's what I agreed to, and no more. So they called Dan Blatt, the producer. He was home in bed. He came over at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and he looked up there and he said, get him out of there. No more. He pulled him.
Wow.
She was right. She didn't want to be on the set when her husband was making love to the werewolf. Remember that scene in the woods?
Sure do.
She
Yeah.
said,
Right.
Well,
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot.
I saw that movie when I was like 11. So
Oh,
yeah,
you did.
I don't remember that scene.
Yeah.
That's the one scene you really remember. You
Sure.
can't forget that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I couldn't believe it. I saw it at the screen. I had no idea how it was going to be. And I went, oh my God. People have asked me, did you know it was going to be a hit? And you don't until you see it and see the special effects and see what they did. Like the faces, the snout of Bob Picardo, who played Eddie Quist, I think, and that scene in the office where he made up that line. I was what he says, I want to give you a piece of my mind. And he pulled the bullet.
He made that up.
That's an improv. I read that. Yeah.
Yeah, I read the improv that. And the face was done later. The guy who did all the special effects, Rob Bottin, Rick Baker was supposed to do the special effects, but Landis wanted him to do Werewolf in London. So his assistant took over, was this 19-year-old kid, Rob Bottin, who was terrific, but he was new and he never finished anything on time. So everything was done, a lot of it was done in post-production. And that scene with Bob Picardo, that face, they had his head because they did the life mask. And they had people blowing into tubes, into bladders underneath his skin. And that's why it would pop out like that, in the face.
Yeah.
And the snout came out. I mean, that guy, he did a thing with the tongue would come all the way out about 5 inches. He was going to give me one, and he never got around to getting it. I wanted to have it for Thanksgiving, just sit there with the family and slowly watch my tongue come out towards the food. I didn't do
Rob Bottin is a remarkable guy, and the fact that he did this film and then the next year did The Thing, which is
that's right,
probably the tops of any, I think, practical special effects of that kind ever done in a movie. Between this and that, I think it really hasn't improved any in terms of even supplemental CGI hasn't made it any better than these films for my money.
I absolutely agree. There's no way. And I think they were both up for the Academy Award, and Werewolf in London won it for makeup.
Yeah.
And they said they made that a permanent award after that because
that's
they
right.
They saw what those guys could do.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting you see the different styles come in and out because that bladder work, the inflatable stuff was popular for a little while, and then they come up with new things. Then new materials were developed that they could stretch in different ways, and pneumatics and but I actually really love.
It was never done in one shot before, right?
Right.
Yeah, that was what was so unique about it.
Yeah.
It was just one shot, no cutaways, and the face just all came out and
extraordinary,
right in front. Yeah.
I gave Matthew some clips, did we show the monster shots yet?
We didn't show the monster shots
because we're talking it just to give people an idea of what this stuff looks like. One of these faces is one of the most terrifying things you could see in a movie. I mean,
you're talking about the photographs,
the photos. Yeah.
That
from the Howling.
Yes. Yeah. This is great werewolf design in general. I mean, they look fantastic,
They're
and
amazing.
the transformations are amazing. But the full werewolves themselves are also really fantastic. You know.
Yeah, the werewolves are half man and half wolf, and they're standing on 2 feet.
This is an example of one of the more frightening images. Like this, when he starts to transform and this starts happening to his face. When I was a kid, this was just, you know, no one had done anything like this.
Right.
Nothing like this had been done. It
Amazing.
was just
Look at them.
it's astounding.
Incredible.
And
I mean, a real artist, no question about it. A real artist.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Now you say he was late with a lot of stuff. Was he must have been super overwhelmed with work, I would think.
He was 19 years old, 19-year-old kid doing this. Can you imagine? I mean, and
that's a lot of responsibility.
Budget constraints and time constraints.
Do you prefer Jim or James?
Do it. He's good. And I think Baker may have helped a little bit, you know, for advice and stuff. But Rob Bottin did it all. Nicest guy you'd ever want to meet.
Wow.
And so interesting that also
he's still out there doing stuff, or he's retired maybe. I don't know. Probably.
It's so interesting that that the person he learned
So,
from went on to be.
Did you mention one of the actors, the guy in the shop, who had done a lot of movies with? Was that the one who played the porno shop operator? I mean, the occult shop operator. What was his name?
Oh yeah, Dick Miller. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I can't hear.
I can hear you fine. You're coming in.
I can hear you, Tony.
Everybody can see and hear me. I can't hear you guys.
Can you hear me, Jim? Oh, drat.
I can't hear you.
Maybe we write him a note.
Yeah, I'm going to write him a note and tell him to leave and come back.
1 second, Jim. 1 minute.
Private chat. Maybe he. Hopefully he'll see it.
Technical difficulties at this time are not. We were right in the meat of this.
Can you hear me now?
Can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No.
Oh.
Can you hear us now,
Jim?
Jim?
Hear me? I can't hear you.
You're fine.
Hear you at all.
I'm telling you to leave and come back.
Well,
1 second. 1 second.
Or I can call him.
Yeah.
You can call him on the phone.
There we go. I can hear you.
Oh,
now you can hear
you now.
Okay.
What happened?
These things happen. I don't know. Every time there's something that goes on.
Oh, okay. As long as it wasn't me.
No.
Yeah.
All kinds of shenanigans. But we were talking about how interesting we were talking about Rob Bottin, and then how incredible it was that his former boss, the guy that taught him, Rick Baker, went off to make American Werewolf in London, and then these two had, you know, the apprentice and the master had these two rival werewolf movies that came out right around the same time. Really interesting.
Yeah. People try to compare them, but they're two totally different storylines and types of movies.
Very different.
Both brilliantly done.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both. I really am. But over the years, I'm a fan of both. Over the years, I've kind of come to love the Howling much more because of its heart. It's got a lot of heart. There's no flippancy about it. There's no for all the nostalgia. It doesn't have any irony in it. It seems to be truly in love with werewolves in a way that it wins me over.
Yeah.
I agree. I think you really kind of care. You care for these people. You care for Dee Wallace's character.
Oh my God, is she good in this movie?
She's really good. I mean, really good. Her emotions are right there on the edge, and she's just one of those people that are like that. When she was walking through that sleazy part of Los Angeles down by the porno shops, she wasn't acting. She was really turned off by it. They said that's just the way she is. She's a very high-strung, very emotional actress. Everything's right there on the surface, and it comes out very vulnerable.
Yeah, it comes out so beautifully. I mean, it seems to be under her control somehow. It doesn't seem to be out of control. But she reminds me, like, the hysteria level she has to hit in this movie. It's almost like Shelley Duvall in The Shining level of kind of mania and hysteria that she has to hit, and she does it so believably. It's one of the things that sells this movie so well is her the commitment to how frightened this poor woman is.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. She did not want to be on the set when her husband or her fiance was making love to.
It seemed like it in the interview that it really bothered her.
Yeah, it did. She did not want to be there at all. And he was there out there freezing his ass off. The two of them was getting cold. They were in trouble with some of the lighting.
Right.
The two of them were freezing. And he came back around 3 a.m. and he said she said, I just went out and got drunk. She said, I didn't want to hear about it, know about it. He came back and he was fine. He was like, okay, I'm fine. Let's go to bed. And then later on in her career, she got a role where she had to do a love scene with somebody, and he freaked out. he didn't want her to do it. Yeah, she said it was the opposite of me. I just said, go ahead and do it. I just don't want to see it.
It's not the best part of being married to or going with an actor or an actress.
No, it really is
not the best part.
Yeah, I would think so too. I mean, knowing your wife is going off to do this very erotic scene with somebody else.
No, I don't.
He couldn't. She had this chance to do it, and then at the end, she turns into a werewolf herself. That scene was really something.
She doesn't turn into a werewolf.
One second.
Well, it's kind of
someone's saying happy birthday to you. Kevin Scullin is typing in happy birthday, Jim.
Is it your birthday today?
Right. Today is my birthday. Yes.
You're spending your birthday with us?
Oh my God, that's incredible.
I told my wife I've got this thing at 9:30. Why would you schedule that tonight? It's your birthday. I don't know. I forgot.
Oh my God.
So
I'm so happy that happy birthday.
My birthday. Who would have thought I'd be celebrating my birthday with the Arkin brothers? I mean, that's probably the furthest thing from my ever.
We're so honored, but we don't want to keep you if you need to go have a scotch with your wife or something.
No, she's watching television, and we had a nice birthday party. The kids came over. My daughter lives nearby, and she brought the 2 boys who were acting crazy. And and Alice made a wonderful chicken. What was it? Not Parmesan chicken.
Franchise.
Chicken.
Cordon bleu.
Sort of like mushrooms and what is the other chicken dish? Italian chicken dish.
Marsala.
Yeah, chicken marsala. That's what it was.
There you go.
It was excellent. I had a wonderful birthday cake and some lovely presents. So I had my birthday party. So this is just the icing on the cake with you guys.
Right. Well, then let's get back to what you were saying about her turning into a werewolf at the end of the movie, and I beg to differ. She doesn't turn into a. She turns into sort of like a were-Persian cat at the end of the movie. It's like, oh, I'm a nice person, so I look. I turn cute with fangs, and it's very sad when I get shot.
I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, you nailed it.
My second film in my life was also a werewolf movie, as it turns out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
Wow.
I just think that I was always looking for something to share with you, Jim, in the waiting rooms and stuff. And you always seem to have your act together and a great career. And I was like, what can I possibly ever say to Jim that would maybe impress him? And I think I finally did it. My second feature film was also a werewolf movie.
Yeah.
We have something in common.
We do. I'm impressed now. Before that, I was never impressed with anything you did.
It's a problem I have with many people.
And now I am. You've won me over.
You've given me a birthday present.
Why didn't you tell me you did it when we were? What was that? give you a
So
birthday
you've given me a
present?
birthday present on your birthday.
Oh, okay. Oh,
So
okay, cool.
Seth Michael May says she
What
turned into a
what werewolf movie did you do?
It was a movie
What werewolf
called
movie did you do?
Full Moon High. Full Moon High, that our brother Adam starred in and played the werewolf in that film. Larry Cohen comedy, werewolf
really?
comedy. Yeah.
Oh, with two of the Arkin brothers.
And our dad has a part in it.
Oh, your dad
well.
was in it too.
I have been in a werewolf movie also.
What?
What? Come on, are you serious? The three guys here with a werewolf movie?
I was in a werewolf movie called The Curse.
Oh my goodness.
Which is about a woman who gets bitten by a werewolf. It's a feminist werewolf movie. She gets bitten by a werewolf and she turns into a werewolf when she's having her period.
Okay.
It's called The Curse. And the tagline for the movie was a period piece without the costumes.
Oh God.
That was the tagline for the movie.
Without the costume?
Yeah.
Oh God.
And I played the cop. I played one of the two cops hot on her trail. The other cop, my younger partner, falls in love with her.
That movie is like you're at the Hyatt Regency by the airport, and that is on, and you are so happy that that film is there for that at that time.
Right.
I don't know that it was ever released. I think it may have been shown once at some theater in Greenwich Village.
Well, we all share this amazing thing. But can you have any stories about working with Dante, with Joe Dante? Do you remember his style at all, or did he have one at that time? I know this was very early in his career.
It really was early in his career, and there's really nothing remarkable that I can remember. I mean,
he always looks. Yes.
No question about it. He's a genius, and he knows horror films. He knows that whole genre inside and out. And he had to do this movie in, I don't know, 28 days or something like that.
Incredible.
He pulled it off. And he did a hell of a job. But it was all about you're here, you're there, these are your lines, say them. There wasn't a lot of direction going on, We never had any rehearsal. We just went up there, did it, and he shot it, and we moved on to the next scene.
Did he seem stressed or?
Yeah, I would say he did at times. He did. Yeah. Yeah. As we got into it, I had a sense that he was.
Yeah. He seemed stressed in his interviews, so he must have been stressed making a second film.
Yeah. He seemed to be constantly thinking. He was always like thinking a step ahead. There was always, let's do this and move on to the next. He was always, you could tell he had something else going on while this was happening.
I was thinking this time watching it that there was a lot of things that reminded me about a young Scorsese with him. They kind of have a similar quality. They both talked quickly and they're smallish kind of East Coast guys, but they have a similar love of cinema. They love the thing they love about cinema in the same way, it seems like.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
He's a real cinephile. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of inside jokes in there, like with Corman and the what's his name, the playwright, the screenwriter was also, he played the coroner. He played the coroner.
Yeah. John Sayles.
Sayles. Yeah. They had some, heavyweight people in there, not at the time, but boy, they went on to do some really great things.
Yeah.
It's kind of remarkable when you think about it. The people that he had all went on to really achieve a lot in film.
Do you want to show that clip so we can all see that if you go to that folder, it's in there now, Matt.
Sure.
That same folder I sent you.
Yeah, no, I've got it upload. The new clip.
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna take a minute for me
okay.
Upload it, but then I will show it. But before I do that, or as I'm doing that, let me find it. There we go. Do you have a favorite performance in? Stop that. Favorite performance in the film, aside from Mr. Murtaugh, of course.
Are you asking me or
either or both?
Favorite performance. Hmm.
Favorite character, performance?
I have a couple of things to say about it for sure. I mean, and we've already mentioned, but I really do think Dee Wallace's work in this is far above what you'd normally see in a B horror movie. I just think she's extraordinary in it.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
I've seen it a bunch of times, as I said, and I'm always struck by that. I'm always struck by how she doesn't have a false moment in it, and it's a completely crazy world that she makes. I think it's really her that makes it a real thing.
I agree. Absolutely. I absolutely agree with that. She did an amazing job. She carries the movie without question. I thought McCarthy was good. I thought he did a great job.
It's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Kevin did a terrific job. He really did. Those moments. What the hell's going on here? What is she doing?
Yeah.
He had those lines, but he delivered them with such believability.
Absolutely.
There's something that I think that was so interesting about casting Kevin McCarthy in this movie. If you start thinking about if you step back from the horror aspect of it and start thinking about the themes of the film in terms of cults and outsiders and that aspect of the film, because there's this whole here, let's watch this clip and then get into the more serious theoretical stuff. Ready?
Okay. Yep, ready.
Visitors, Eddie.
Please, you're gonna purchase. Not leave them alone. You get them greasy.
Wonder where they're going to.
I don't know where they come from, but they got to where they're going.
Okay, mister, it's all yours.
Each of us is given a gift. The gift of life.
Camera 2, give me a 2 shot.
What you ladies need is a good retriever.
Incredidick.
I mean, that's just a taste of the amazing little moments.
The porno shop was Dick Miller.
That no, he's Dick Miller is at the that's the bookshop. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Oh, we can hear you. You can't hear us now?
No, we can hear you.
We can hear you fine.
Cut off again. Cut off.
Cut
off. Man.
You bastard. I'm going to take him out and put him back in again.
How's that, James? Is that good? Is that better? Still nothing?
Hello.
His mic
You're
is
fine.
I think I've got cut off. I can't hear.
Do you have his phone, Matthew? Do you want to get out? We're going to call you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
we can hear you. You're fine. You're fine. But you can't hear us.
You guys muted me.
No.
No.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
We can hear you fine. You
can't
hear
us. Right. Yeah.
So the best thing to do when that happens is to leave the stream and then come back.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. It said the host muted me, but you didn't mute me.
I did, and then I unmuted you.
Oh, okay. So I'll leave and come back. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Dick Miller, the fellow who owns the horror bookstore, and
yeah,
is my.
He's your favorite part in this.
James is still having some technical difficulties.
Yes,
he hasn't left. He's kind of left.
It's a kind of a spooky. What's happening here is a little spooky, so it's appropriate, I guess, for the Halloween.
For Halloween, it's the Gremlin. We've got Gremlins.
We got Gremlins. Speaking of Dick Miller, in Gremlins, in every Joe Dante movie, he's apparently in every movie that he ever did.
He was fantastic. Yeah. But so this thing with this film about that this is the 1981.
Yep.
Right. and she has all this stuff about, going up there to the colony, and Patrick Macnee's character is kind of a guru. And
Yep.
Can you hear us now, James?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, keep going.
Okay, great. So Patrick Macnee's character is kind of a guru, and then there's this thing that they talk about. There's that moment when she's talking about, I don't want to go, the one, your wife, I believe, in the movie. She's talking about, I did EST, I did transactional analysis, I did all this stuff. And there was such an explosion at that time of all of those different culty things. And then this idea of that these people who are in these, here we've got this cult of people who are trying to move within society. It turns out at the end, they're trying to move within society, and they look just like us. And that was a very Body Snatchers kind of idea at the end of the movie, when Dee Wallace has to come back and prove that they are moving amongst us. And so the way Kevin McCarthy has to be running around saying, they're here, they're already here. She's the one at the end of this movie taking on that role.
That's right. And they dismiss her. They said the lady just turned into a werewolf. That's
my favorite line in the movie is, it was real. She turned into a werewolf and they shot her. And the guy said, you're a bastard. He says, doesn't mean it wasn't real.
Yeah.
I love that.
Doesn't mean it wasn't real. That is a great line.
It's full of great writing. Sayles' script is so fantastic. I love the line from Kenneth Tobey, who's actually, I think it's in the clip that I showed, where his partners, they're looking out at all the riffraff on the streets in this really, in the kind of red light district of town, and they're saying, boy, there's so much flotsam and jetsam floating around tonight. And his partner says, I wonder where they come from. I wonder where they're going to. And Toby says, I don't know where they come from, but they got to where they're going.
Yeah, that is a great
line. That's a great line.
A great line.
I forgot that line. That line. It was Dick
Did
Miller, the guy that plays in the porno shop. He was terrific.
Who's that?
Dick Miller. He's been
Dick Miller. You mean Dick Miller plays the guy who runs the bookstore, like the occult bookshop?
The occult bookstore.
Yeah. There's another guy that's named
he had funny lines too.
Eric Baja or something played the porno shop owner.
Right.
But did you get to hang out with John Sayles at all? Did you?
No, I didn't. No, I know he just had the one scene, and he showed up once. I didn't hang out with him at all.
What an interesting guy to talk to. I bet he seems like such a smart fellow.
Oh yeah, very smart guy. He would have been a great guy to chat with, get to know. There was a guy in there named Noble Willingham. I really enjoyed. Funny guy. He reminded me of Wilford Brimley. He was that kind of character.
Yeah.
Noble did a lot of westerns, right? A lot of
Noble has Noble was
Western TV stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. What a sweet guy, down to earth guy. Hey Jim, how you doing, Jim? How's it going tonight? You all right? That's how he was. Just down to earth guy. Just a real character.
Wow.
If you wanted someone like that, that's who you'd hire. He was perfect.
You were talking about some of the performances that we liked. I am a particular fan of what's his name? This guy named James Mackerel, who plays the newscaster.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
In this,
he was. Good.
I actually remembered this moment as a kid. It really hit me as like it was one of the early movies that I saw that I think probably. I knew that mom and dad probably wouldn't wanted me to have rented this from Blockbuster. If they had their choice, they would have probably picked something slightly less violent and, sexual.
But accidentally rented it.
I rented it myself, and then I was really aware. I was really aware of all these these amazing performances as a little kid, and one of them was this guy James Mackerel. There's a clip that I pulled, Matthew, if you want to play it. I really love this thing. It says newscaster. It's Howling newscaster.
Here we go.
Weeks ago, when Update News reporter Karen White began receiving calls from a mysterious stranger who identified himself only as Eddie, the KDHB news team... The KDHB news team began working... The KDHB news team began working with local police to link Eddie with a recent string of Hi, Bill. That's a brave little old girl you got there. Tonight, and an act of courage we here at KDHB are all very proud of.
That's great stuff.
It's a great thing. He was apparently a real newscaster. He plays a newscaster in Gremlins also apparently, and
oh, he did. Yeah, that was.
I don't know how much. Yes, yeah. I love that. I always thought that was a really funny moment, and nice, like little elegant push in at the end of that shot. You know, he just like there's so many beautiful filmic details that he has in this film. And that's why I'm thinking, you know, I really see a lot of Scorsese and a lot of De Palma. I feel like he shares a lot of DNA with them, and of course, you know, the score for this film is amazing. Pino Donaggio, did great work on it.
Yeah,
I love
he did most of it in Italy. I think he did all of it in Italy. Yeah.
I love the stings on all the transitions. They have just these big musical stings, like sping. On a cut. Fantastic.
And he had to do a lot of improvising because he said it was a very low budget movie. He would have preferred a full orchestra, but he had to find a lot of ways to improvise and make it work.
Some great stuff.
He did a great job. This is one of the first movies, I think, where they did most of the werewolf movies. Was always a single werewolf, you know, Lon Chaney and the werewolf. Here, the first time they've had a community of werewolves.
That's right. That's right.
Which made it kind of unique. When I had read that werewolf movies were kind of being dismissed, it was kind of old hat. And so they had to do something different with this one. And it sure was different. I mean, it was a take on pop culture. It was a contemporary werewolf movie. A lot of satire.
But the references to other werewolf movies and to werewolf lore. There's so many.
A lot of them.
There's the Lon Chaney. There's 2 Lon Chaney clips in the movie. There's some of the old cartoon clips of the cartoon werewolf, and then there's all these little tiny things. Like you notice, of course, right after her husband Stone, Chris Stone, is that her? Yeah. Christopher Stone eats meat for the first time and is no longer a vegetarian. Did you notice what book he's reading in bed?
Yeah, Look Homeward, Angel.
You know, You Can't Go Home Again.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes.
By Thomas Wolfe.
Thomas Wolfe. And Howl
by Ginsberg. Wolf chili is in a can of Wolf chili is in 2 different shots.
That's right.
And then right before she throws the acid in his face, the acid is sitting next to a bottle that says Wolf's acidosis treatment.
Right.
It goes deeper than even that, because apparently there are 7 names in the film, character names that are all the names of directors of horror of werewolf movies from the past.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Wow.
Either directors or cinematographers or
yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
But only Joe would know them. But he was paying homage to all of these great horror.
Yeah. And he was on the production design side. I have to say, I love the fact that there is a Monk's scream in a shrink's office.
I know.
Like, what psychiatrist is going, like, you go to see your therapist and he has Edvard Munch's The Scream on the wall.
So funny.
It's like,
so funny.
Not what a shrink would have.
Right.
Marcia's house, the first time we see Marcia's house it looks like something out of a Grimm's fairy tale. Just the way it's lit, the way it's sort of one of those narrower than it is tall.
Right.
Well, that was Robert A. Burns, who's a pretty well-known production designer for horror movies. He did Texas Chainsaw and Hills Have Eyes and Tourist Trap, Reanimator, which is incredible, and Full Moon High.
Oh wow! Okay, so you worked with them.
I'm just saying.
And the production design on the inside of the porn shop on Hollywood Boulevard, that is, I have heard exactly what those places look like.
Yes, that was
that was shot on location. That was one of those places.
That was actually.
She said,
Dee
Wallace couldn't. Yeah, when she had to walk down the aisle, look at those pictures, she couldn't look at them. She was
Matthew
really
can't look at those things either.
Ever.
Too rarefied for that.
Never
they
seen
had those
that.
little booths. Yeah, you'd pay a quarter. I never went in one, but you'd pay a quarter to go in and watch a clip, another quarter to see the rest of the movie. But I guess that's an actual little shop there in Hollywood.
That opening, that film, it really hit home as a kid. Like, it really spooked me, and it's a really genuinely eerie experience. The first 10 minutes. Well, it came out in 81, so I was probably, I guess I was like 13, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was fine, but a little young to. I mean, it feels like a. What I love about Joe Dante is that his stuff has a lot of heart, but there are moments where you don't know if you're in safe hands, which I love as a fan of horror movies. He always goes a little further than you'd think he's going to and it will show you something that you're not quite prepared for, which I admire. Even in there's something kind of family friendly about the feeling about some of the films. They're not, and they lull you into a fake. So even Gremlins has that, where it's actually kind of it seems like a Christmas family fun adventure sci-fi movie, but it's actually much meaner than that. And this is too. This is an adult movie in every way, and I was not prepared as a kid. I loved it, but it freaked me out.
I wasn't prepared this afternoon.
How about when she chops off the hand and the hand turns into?
Oh my God!
I mean, give me a break with that.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah.
There is one of my favorite moments ever of product placement in this movie. However,
what was that?
Well, they do a really nice product placement for the Mazda, and they have this great shot of the pop-up headlights. And apparently, did you know that the traction on a Mazda is so good, the brakes are so good, that the tires will squeal when it's coming to a stop on grass?
No, really?
It's that good.
Yeah, because he pulls up to the barn and he's on grass and he slams on the brake. It comes to a halt and it goes. It's like, wait a second.
I think they added that in there. I think
whatever works, man.
Definitely added it in there, but it's like you're going to give me a squeal of the tires on the lawn.
They're going to do that.
Yeah,
they are going to do that.
The movie was such a low budget movie that the cinematographer had to buy his own fog machine.
Oh, that sounds like a line on a Johnny Carson episode. That movie was so low budget, I had to buy my own fog machine.
My own fog machine. Right?
You have a favorite shot, Tony?
I do. I have there's a clip of it, actually, if you wanted to show it, if you have the time, but I do. Yeah.
If I have the time?
Yeah, well, or if James has the time. I mean, it's his birthday after all.
Let me see what time. I think I have time. James can take off whenever he wants if he's sick of us.
Okay, we'll play the clip. Let me see.
See.
What is it?
All
clip
right.
of?
Here we go.
Whatever happened, in your own words, nothing newsy.
I don't know what happened in there. I don't remember.
that shot, starts
Yeah.
in the alleyway with the cop cars, and you saw what he did there, right? Because they cut to her with the cop car lights on her, and you think she's still in the street, but the last shot of her, they pan off of her and they pan into that room.
Yeah.
So it's an absolutely masterful edit and shot. And then she had to run around behind the camera and jump into the couch and get into character as the camera was moving and picks her up there. And then the fact that that's also probably in the same shot that she has this unbelievably dramatic moment, which is a great example of how much passion she brought to this performance. I mean, it's just really believable.
But she couldn't have said "silver bullets my ass" the way I did.
No.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true.
And she
my favorite shot.
Everybody has their thing. That's their thing.
My favorite shot is the end credit burger.
Oh yeah, it's
which one? Which one?
The end credit burger. The hamburger at the last shot in the movie is throwing the burger on the grill, and they just show the whole cooking of that hamburger. But there's, I love the wolf cam. I love the reverse Jaws shot in the therapy session, where it goes into the wide angle and brings the other people in looking at her. And the edit on the exploding car is really well. I had to go back and look at that again, because the cutting on action in the exploding car moment when she and Dennis Dugan are running from that exploding car really makes it, the editing is so good that it looks like they get out of the car, run from it, and then it explodes behind them. And
it does.
It's done so well.
It really is.
I mean, for a moment I was scared for the actors, like, oh, they did. And then if you watch it a couple of times, you can see where the cut is, but not when you're sitting in a movie theater watching it once. You do see that cut.
That's because Joe Dante edited it, and also Mark Goldblatt edited it, who edited the Terminator movies. And
so he knew a little bit about how to edit things.
He knows how to edit some stuff.
Did a great job in editing.
Dante's no slouch, man. He knows. Yeah.
Editing was great. Oh shoot!
So you can't hear us again?
I'll call in again.
Oh God!
Oh, the technical difficulties never stop.
I think they're deliberately doing this to me.
we like torturing.
Okay.
It's the trick or treat episode.
Yeah,
everybody gets a little bit of a trick.
Yeah. No treat. We've got no treat for him whatsoever.
He is wonderful in the movie. I mean, I don't mean to keep on talking about Dee Wallace. It's just that she's, she's amazing. She's like the greatest scream queen from that whole period.
Yeah.
I mean, Cujo and this, and I mean, she didn't scream in E.T., but she was great.
It's great. Great stuff. Great stuff.
No, she did. She was great in Cujo. Yeah.
Yeah. And E.T., I mean, everybody just, she was like everybody's mom for a while. That was also the weird part about this.
She was. You're right. She was like everybody's mom. You're absolutely
right.
Just likable, loving, sweet, nice. Chris Stone passed away in the 90s, I believe.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sad. Very sad. Yeah. But she was nice. I didn't hang out with her much. The werewolves kind of hung out together.
Right.
We're all in.
That's what it's always like. You're doing a Nazi movie.
She was off in her own little world. She tends to stay in character all the time.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it's always like. You're doing a Nazi movie. The Nazis all hang out together. They don't hang out with the prison camp people.
Yeah.
No, you don't do that. It just breaks the tension.
It breaks the mood. Yeah.
It breaks the mood. You start empathizing. You don't want empathy in it.
You don't want to empathize. When you're a werewolf, you don't want to empathize with the people you have to.
You don't want to empathize. No. You totally don't.
James, are you a horror movie fan? Were you a fan of horror movies before this?
Yeah,
or?
I did. I remember seeing the thing back in the 50s, the
Yeah.
original.
Oh, great movie.
Oh, that was a fantastic. Who was the star there? Jim Reeves?
James Arnett. James Arnett.
James
And
Arnett, right.
Kenneth Tobey.
Yes. Oh, I love that movie. So yeah, I like a good horror movie. Like Get Out was the one that I loved,
Great stuff.
I said, boy, they nailed it with that movie. They really nailed it. It's just like this one. You don't expect it. These are ordinary people. You don't think anything. They're just the average guys, and they're werewolves, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it, the surprise makes it a horror movie, as far as I'm concerned.
And I love that
they're
werewolves that are dealing with psychological trauma, and they're all getting therapy, which I think is amazing.
I think is hysterical. They're all trying to control their that duality that we have in the good versus evil. We all have that in us, and they're trying to sit on it.
You got to learn how to fit in. You need to fit in.
I have to believe that was a John Sayles contribution, I would imagine. I don't think that's in the book, from which they changed, I think, everything, apparently.
I heard that too. Absolutely. Total change. I don't think it was in the book. I don't know. But it was just a great way to update it.
It feels like John Sayles to me.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. I agree.
Like Esalen, all those places.
Yeah.
Yeah, Esalen. Yeah, it was a real takeoff on that. It was just a satire on that whole culture at that time.
Yeah.
People trying to find themselves and repress certain things and let things out. They were trying to let them out. That conflict between the two, and let's make them werewolves. What urge is more greater than turn it into a werewolf?
Absolutely. I love that aspect of the film.
I did too. I just thought that worked. That's what really attracted me to the movie. That part of it. I thought this is so clever, so unusual, so unique, and very fun.
That's why you decided to do it.
That's why I agreed to do it. I held out for quite a while.
That's not
when is Murtaugh going to sign?
Yeah, that's not how I run my career. My career.
He's worried it may affect his career. 6 months later, I'm off selling hamburgers. I didn't care about my career. I just wanted to work and pay my bills. I didn't think about that. Well, this has been great fun, guys.
Great having you on.
Happy birthday, Jim. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Blow out your candles, Laura.
Yes. And have a slice of cake for us.
This is what?
Have a slice of cake for us.
I will. I wish you were here to share it with me. It was delicious cake, by the way. It was really,
I
really good.
kind of wish I was there, but I'd rather be in the living room than in your bedroom, I think.
This has just been a great experience. I really, truly enjoyed it. You guys are terrific, by the way. Really great. Really nice.
Thank you so much for being here. Really great. Happy Halloween, and have a great rest of your birthday.
We love you so much in the movie. Thanks so much. Have a good night.
Good night.
Thank you too, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. That is great.
Great having him on.
So happy that he did that. That was on his birthday too. I mean, that's
crazy.
Who does that? I ask you, who does that? I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that for people I really like. This guy's amazing. I can't tell you how happy I am that you like this movie, because
I loved it.
I couldn't tell. Like, I didn't know for sure. I was a little worried. In fact,
I'm not without criticism, though. I have a couple of little moments that maybe you can put into perspective.
I'm sure I can, by saying they had 28 days to make it and $1 million.
There you go. Okay. So, but we can't just let them go.
No, they're part of it.
Yeah.
The bad things are part of the goodness.
So here's a couple of things. There's a point in the movie where she's scared and walking through the woods, and she hears a voice say, it's not Dee Wallace, it's the other woman.
The reporter friend.
The reporter. She hears somebody say, "Over here, Terry." And she goes that way. That's when I go the other way.
Mm. You're gonna have to bring that up with the complaint with the horror movie complaint office. That's in every horror movie.
It's like, I'm afraid there might be werewolves here. And a voice says, over here, Terry.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll walk that way.
Not a terribly believable moment.
Okay.
But she is a reporter. She's following a lead. So I at least give her that.
When Dee Wallace Stone, who I love in the movie, finds her friend dead with the throat torn out. Her reaction seems a little mild to me there at first.
Okay.
Seems more like sad that her friend got her throat torn out, rather than what I think my reaction would be if I found you with your throat torn out.
Kind of mildly bemused.
Like, whoa, my inheritance just got bigger. You know. No.
Yeah, okay.
No. And then the last thing is, and again, 28 days, only $1 million. But at the end of the making love by the fire, the sort of whatever rotoscope animation wolf purple moment.
Yeah, they were trying to that didn't really work. They had more of that they tried to do stop motion animation because at the time it was the only way they could get the full figure of a werewolf in the shot. So they tried to do some stop motion animation, which didn't really work, but they needed some bridge material, so they threw some of that in there for a couple of dissolves in the movie.
Okay.
And it's there, and again at near the end of the movie as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy because it's all of a sudden a totally different style of special effect and thing.
Yeah. It's like, what? Why is that here? But I had so much fun watching it, and I remember Adam talking to me about I want to give you before I saw the movie.
Oh, so it made an impression on him too at the time.
He did it for you. It's like that moment. He just adored that moment.
That was Robert Picardo.
Robert Picardo, who went on to Star Trek
TV
9 fame
and a bajillion TV shows.
Bajillion TV things.
You
another
recognize
great line that we haven't talked about, which I love, is, well, he didn't get up and walk out on his own. And obviously he did.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah, it really is. I mean, I think you were asking about other characters that I particularly liked. Patrick Macnee, I think, does a lot to lend some gravitas to this movie and to that cult. I think without somebody as interesting and kind of intense as him,
who could be a cult leader.
Yeah, he has that quality about him that really feels that kind of magnetic and, the paterfamilias, the kind of bigger than life voice, hypnotic. He's really, really good in it.
There's one other thing that we didn't talk about that I loved and that I noticed through the whole film was the use of shadow, like very stark shadows of people repeatedly. There would be a character and a very stark shadow of them against a wall behind them. And the most noticeable one is the first time we meet Marcia and she's by the fire. There's a moment where it's not a special effect, but somehow the way they had her move, she looks completely normal in the shot, but her shadow looks a little bit like it's transforming into a wolf. And it's not a special effect. It's just sort of a hand puppet thing that they do with however they had her stand and the harsh shadow behind her on the cliff, the face of the cliff at the beach looks threatening.
Yeah.
And throughout the movie, they keep having these harsh shadows, but it didn't seem like bad lighting. It seemed completely purposeful.
No, I mean, it's a lot of that. There's you're really looking at a movie that's pretty beautifully made. I mean, there's a lot of really elegant stuff going on in it. and it was shot by the guy that worked with Dante a lot. John Hora, his name is. Is he still alive? Yes. And he did Gremlins also, and The Burbs, and Inner Space. All of those were Joe Dante movies. But I think like this was a really early movie of John Hora's, for instance. And what's amazing about it to me is you've got such a young group of people essentially making this. I mean, this was early John Sayles. He hadn't become, the indie giant that he was to be yet. Joe Dante's on his second film. The cinematographer's young. It was a very young group of people, and there's so many kind of mature things about it, just from a filmmaking standpoint. And they had time for details like those shadows and things you're talking about, even though they only had 28 days to make it. And they had a low budget, which, let's face it, a lot of it went to some of those cameos and to the special effects.
Yeah.
They didn't have time for takes for actors on this movie, probably. So
it gives me hope for Birthquake, this movie.
Well, tell us, all right. Happy Halloween. Birthquake is what? You can't just drop that.
I think that's as much as I want to. I'll drop the title,
okay,
and the tagline, which is "Don't frack with Mother Nature." But that's about as far as I think I should go at this point. But well, you've read it. What would you call it? I don't even know what genre to call that. Adventure horror?
No, it's I would call it more
disaster horror.
It's a monster movie.
Okay, it's a monster movie that I've written.
I think it's a monster movie.
Yeah,
I mean, pretty squarely a monster movie.
In the monster movie category? Okay. Yeah. It's a monster movie.
I believe that's what it is.
I guess I have trouble saying it because it's the last. Like, you know me.
You didn't go to like Wesleyan University thinking that you were going to make a monster movie.
Well, if somebody called you up and said, "I just read Matthew's script,"
right, and they're like, "What kind of script is it?
What genre is it? What would you say it was?"
Yeah, I wouldn't think monster movie would not.
Matt wrote a monster movie.
No.
It's so far out of what I would write that even I didn't know that it was a monster movie.
That's great.
An environmental
it's a monster movie.
It's
a monster.
It's a kid. Kid, sit down. I'm talking to you.
It's Roger Corman for you. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's sort of it's a trauma. It's in the trauma vein.
Well, what kind of movie is it? It's the kind of movie where I give you 2 days to make it.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
An interesting side note.
In 30 years, 2 idiots will be staying up late at night on YouTube talking about
it. Yes. To like 3 people who are insomniacs.
There are 8 people. There are 8 people here listening to us.
I can't see how many people. That's what I'm so happy to hear it.
How many people? There are 8 people.
Do you know about the Howling?
3 of them are mom, because she just put computers all over the house.
It's like a sports bar. Do you know? Did you ever see the Howling 2?
No, I've missed that. Do I know? Do I need to?
Well, the byline is your sister is a werewolf. But the Howling 2 is a much maligned film, and I can understand why. In a way, it's not a honorable sequel to the first one at all.
Oh.
It's really not. But it is amazing because it is, and it was also directed by the astounding Philippe Mora, who directed Dad in one of his finest films, The Return of Captain Invincible.
The Return of Captain Invincible, which is
I feel
spectacular movie.
Spectacular.
But there is some fun. I mean, Christopher Lee in that movie is.
I don't say that with irony. I love that movie. I really do.
Christopher Lee singing. I used to know some of the songs from that movie. They've slipped my mind. There's some great songs in that film.
Yeah, there are.
Christopher Lee's song is priceless.
Dr.
Vincent Priceless.
Vincent Priceless. But yeah, Philippe Moore directed The Howling 2. Very worth checking out if you want to see like not much more Tommy Wiseau level production of The Howling. Yeah.
You take me apart, Lisa.
Yeah, man. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just such a great movie.
I think we've covered all my the smiley faces. We didn't talk about
smiley faces. So great. It's great. That opening sequence is terrifying, man.
Yeah.
When she goes into that room with a booth with him, and he's behind her, and he's talking to her, and you don't have no idea what's happening. And then they also, you don't get to see a werewolf transform for quite a while. And when was the last time you waited that long to see something like that, and then it's better than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
Like, so cool.
Yeah. Just great stuff. I'm looking at my notes to see if I have anything that we haven't covered. I think the barn fire, I thought, is a pretty stunning sequence at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That I thought was spectacular. And the howl with the fire behind it, the sequence when there's the bonfire behind the house is pretty great. Well, I guess that's the Halloween episode. We did it.
There it is. It's been a total pleasure.
It's been great. And we made it through without Adam.
It's too bad we missed brother number one, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, he's
busy. He's a busy guy.
He's off being fancy.
He's working.
Yeah.
I'm not working.
Someday you might be fancy, and it might be just me and Adam.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to be there. If I was fancy, then I could feel fancier than you. I can't feel fancier than you if I'm not there with you.
You could. It's easy to be fancier than me. So easy to be fancier than me. So next week, the movie from 1982, Wrong is Right, with the amazing Sean Connery.
Le amazing.
George Grizzard, who I have a story about.
Do you?
I do. I have a George Grizzard story. Robert Conrad, Catherine Ross, G.D. Spradlin.
Oh, I love me some G.D. Spradlin. Or J.D. Spradlin.
What?
Is it J.D. or G.D.?
G.D.
Okay.
Spradlin. John Saxon.
Oh, God. John Saxon is the greatest.
Henry Silva.
This is so good.
Leslie Nielsen, Robert Webber.
I can't wait.
Dean Stockwell.
Goes on and on.
Ron Moody.
Wow.
And a very young Jennifer Jason Leigh.
And Anna Paquin is in it. No, she's not.
Anna Paquin would be pre.
She wasn't born at that point.
She wasn't born. Yeah. But that's an amazing cast, and it's a fun movie.
Who directed this film?
Who directed Wrong is Right was directed by somebody named Richard Brooks.
Wow.
Who also wrote the screenplay from the novel by Charles McCrary.
Richard Brooks. I can't believe that. Wow, man.
Yeah. Richard
Brooks, this is exciting.
Who's a talented dude. He directed
In Cold Blood.
In Cold Blood. He directed Key Largo.
No, he was a writer on it.
Oh, he was a writer.
John Huston directed Key Largo.
He was a writer on Elmer Gantry too.
Indeed.
And it says here that he was a writer on Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, but
What did he write? I think somebody else wrote that.
I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure that's a load of crap.
Pickens wrote Cat on a Hot Tin.
Pretty sure that's crap.
But he might have done some rewriting for the screen.
Well, I
He
mean,
wrote Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
yeah. He also directed Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I mean, he directed a lot of these movies.
Yeah, he directed. What's funny about Wrong is Right, Looking for Mr. Goodbar, In Cold Blood, The Professionals, Lord Jim, Sweet Bird of Youth. No, I'm still looking at the. No, I'm looking at the director. Wait, not done it. Director credits.
Yeah, he directed Sweet Bird of Youth.
Elmer Gantry, he directed Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, The Brothers Karamazov, Blackboard Jungle, some great stuff.
Yeah, I mean, In Cold Blood, that's all you really had to do to be on the top of the list. But yeah, that's really cool. So I'm really looking forward to this.
That's what we have next week. It's going to be fun, and I think it's a timely movie about
political film.
There's politics. Well, it's news people and politicians.
Well, you can't have everything.
And an African American. I'm hoping that it's a very realistic movie because there's an African American vice president in it. A female African American vice president. Okay. So I'm hoping that it's a timely.
Who do we know who plays that role?
I can find out. It's not Kamala Harris. I know that. It is
Rosalind Cash, maybe.
Cash,
who looks like was in Network. Is that true?
She was an Omega Man.
Clue.
She was an Omega Man. Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, fantastic!
Yep.
We could get her on the show. Anybody in Buckaroo Banzai.
Buckaroo Banzai would
I would talk to them for hours.
Yep.
All right, fantastic. Wrong is Right. I can't wait. That's going to be fun.
So we're going to have a good time with that.
Have a safe Halloween, sir. Be careful out there.
You too. And I will see you the day after tomorrow. No, Saturday.
Saturday. Day after tomorrow.
In person.
Yes.
Yay. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tune in next week for Wrong is Right. And we will see you soon.
Happy